Speaking Volumes is proud to present the unabridged recording of The Collection, Volume 1 by Bentley Little, being performed by Mitch Urban.
And I am here, fighting with ghosts. I've always liked this story. It was rejected by nearly every magazine on the planet before finally finding a home, so maybe my perception is skewed and it's really not very good. But it has resonance for me because it's essentially 4 of my dreams that I altered a bit and strung together with a loose narrative thread. I stole the title from a line in Ibsen's play, A Doll's House. I cannot always tell anymore. It used to be easy. There was a sharp distinction between the two. But the difference has become progressively less pronounced. The distinction's blurred since Kathy left. I have no visitors now. They too left with Kathy. And if I go into town, I'm avoided, whispered about, the butt of nervous jokes. Now children tell horror stories about me to frighten their little brothers. And their brothers are frightened. And so are they. And so are their parents. So I leave the grounds as little as possible. When I go to the store, I load up on groceries and then stay inside my little domain until my supplies run out, and I must venture forth again. When I do make the trek into town, I notice there are names carved into the gates outside of the driveway. Obscene names. I never see the culprits, of course, and if they ever see me coming down the wooded drive toward them, I'm sure they run like mad. They do not know that their town is on the outskirts. They do not know that my house is on the border. They do not know that I am the only thing protecting them. The last time I went for supplies, the town was no longer the town. It was the fair. But I didn't question it. It seemed perfectly natural. And I was not disoriented. I had intended to go into Mike's Market when I came into town, but after I reached the midway, I knew that the fun house was where I was supposed to go. I heard the fun house before I saw it. The laughter. Outrageous, raw, uninhibited laughter. Continuous laughter. It came from a mechanical woman. A 15-foot Appalachian woman with dirty limbs and dirtier clothes, and a horribly grinning gap-toothed mouth. She was hinged at the waist, and she robotically doubled over, up and down with Appalachian guffaws. The woman scared me. But I bought my ticket and rushed past her into the funhouse, into a black hole of a maze that twined and intertwined and wound around, ending in a grimy, colorless room with no furniture, and with windows which opened on painted scenes. The room was built on a 45-degree slant, and the door entered at the bottom right corner. I had to fight the incline to reach the exit at the top left. Through the fake windows, I could still hear the Appalachian woman laughing. The door at the top opened into an alley. A real alley, and when I stepped through the door, the funhouse was gone. The door was now a wall. The alley smelled like French food. It was narrow and dark and cobblestoned, and it retained the lingering odors of soufflés and fondue. There was a dwarf hiding in one of the doorways, staring at me. There was something else in another doorway that I was afraid to acknowledge. The tap on my shoulder made me jump. It was the Appalachian woman. Only she was no longer mechanical but human, and my height, and not laughing. With one hand she pointed down a dark stairway that opened into the ground on the side of the alley. The other hand held a rolling pin. "Turn off the light at the end of the hall," she commanded. I stepped down the stairs and it was cold, but that was not the only reason I shivered. I turned around, intending to climb back up. The woman was still pointing. I could see her silhouette against the overcast sky above the alley, framed by the stairwell entrance. "Turn off the light at the end of the hall," she repeated. I started down. The hallway was long, extraordinarily long and dark. Doors opened off to each side, but somehow I knew that they did not lead anywhere.